again. So let's go to the outline of this particular session. So in the first few slides and few minutes, I would introduce what is actually artificial intelligence, and on the background, how artificial intelligence works actually. For that, I will introduce what is meant by machine learning and how it works. I'm not going to take you into the mathematical details or computer related details, but I will just give you a feeling how artificial intelligence works, what is the background of it. Okay. And when we understand that, we will understand that machine learning and one more thing called as deep learning, both of them form the backbone of AI, which is artificial intelligence. Now, this is a research related to computer science, which is also involved in mathematics and a little bit of hardware. Now, it looks like it is actually different from us since we are in education background. Now, after explaining machine learning, I will explain why AI really matters. Okay, and then we will see AI in education, what are the current effects of AI on education, and what are the benefits if we use AI in education. And besides few other things, I will also discuss what are the guidelines for using AI. Okay, so before I proceed, anytime you have a question on any slide, you can just stop me and you can ask questions if you want to understand a little bit more. Okay, or if I'm not audible, you can just tell Preeti ma'am, or you can just directly talk to me back. Okay, and I will also leave maximum 5 to 10 minutes at the end of the lecture for you to ask questions if there are any questions. All right, so let's proceed. Now, what is AI? For any normal person or any person who is not related to computer science, understanding artificial intelligence is important because by the end of this workshop, you are all going to use AI. I most probably, according to my guess, many of you are already using AI, and it has come to everybody's mobile screen and everybody's newspaper. Okay, so AI is the science of making machines mimic human intelligence, such as problem solving, decision making, and learning. That means any automatic machine, okay, if it is actually trying to behave like a human being or behave like it has an intelligence, when it is trying to solve the problems, make decisions, and then whatever it sees, if it is learning that, we can call it roughly as artificial intelligence. So here machines means the only machine that we know that can do all of this is computer. Okay, computer necessarily does not mean that your desktop computer or your laptop. It could be the chip on your mobile. It could be something on your washing machine, something on your electrical appliance. Okay, anything that is operated on a chip. That means when some amount of code sits on a chip or a machine, then we will call it as AI usable machine. Not just computer, like I said, computer controlled robot. So many of you have seen cleaning robots. Some people have already introduced robots in hotels, and medicine is also introducing robots for operating and surgeries. All of them are machines. So they are performing tasks. No? Okay.
Yes, sir. Please continue.
Yeah. So those computer-controlled robots will perform tasks using some amount of intellectual process, which is characteristic of human beings. So now, our first machine that we know is a computer. Okay. So second machine that I mentioned about is a robot. You see, actually, if anything that is standing, let's say a machine or or anything, electrical appliance, when it is standing on the floor, and then when we push it so that it will fall, and if it is not falling, or when it is pushed, if it is coming back to its original position, that means it already knows what is its original and stable position. So here, if you see, the person on the right is trying to push away the robot, but the robot is trying to come back to its original and stable position. How does it know it has to come back? Because it has some intellectuality or characteristic of human beings, where it knows, I have moved from my original position, I have to come back. So I will bring up this analogy, I will bring up this concept again and again when we are looking at AI and machine learning, right? Okay. Now, AI now is not very new. In fact, AI is around us for quite a few years. How do we know AI is already there with us, but now only we are actually seeing its effect in education? We all know using Google Maps. So if we are going from a place, our place, or starting place, some place, to a destination, what we do is we open Google Maps, and we will actually enter the source and the destination. So the source and the destination, once taken by the Google Maps, according to its already stored knowledge, which is AI, it will try to get you the closest route possible. That means without already knowing it, without already seeing those routes, it cannot give you the shortcut, or it cannot give you the best possible route. So this is how Google Maps use AI. Okay. Next thing, we all might have heard about Siri or Alexa. Okay. These are voice assistants which are used by Apple, and some Android phones also have some voice assistants. What are they actually doing? We give them a command. Let's say, "Hey Siri, what is the weather today?" So Siri will take my voice, and whatever text that is there in the voice, it will convert my voice into textual, words, and then from all its knowledge, from all its intellectuality, it will go to an program, and which is provided by Apple or Android, and it will ask. The user has asked me, what is the weather today? And when it gives the program what is the weather input, that weather will collect information from outside, and then it will give back to Siri. And then Siri will take that information, and then Siri will tell you the weather today is sunny and the temperature is maybe 30 degrees. Let's say if it is in Maharashtra, probably it is raining. It will say the temperature is 20 degrees and it's raining heavily. Okay, that's how Siri works. This is AI. Now we all know YouTube, we might have used a lot. Okay, how does YouTube use AI? When users upload a lot of videos, a lot of shorts, okay, it will actually go through each video, and it will take every frame of the video, and then it will observe what is inside the video, and then it will store that information in its intelligence. When you type, let's say you want to learn about machine learning, when you type machine learning, it will take that input, it will go to its intellect, and then it will find out many videos that talk about machine learning or artificial intelligence. It will bring you back that videos. That means it has some intellect. Similarly, one final thing, you all might have heard about Netflix. It's very similar to YouTube, but Netflix is mostly about movies and web series and drama, adventure, that sort of movies. So Netflix again is a storage of movies and shorts and movies and dramas, web series, and it will actually recommend. Let's say, for example, if you now search about some Hindi drama or Hindi movies, okay, related to Shah Rukh Khan or Salman Khan, anyone that you like, When you once search those movies, next time in the notifications, it will start recommending to you anything related to Shah Rukh Khan or anything related to Salman Khan. If you search about someone else, let's say, okay, it will also take that information, store it in its intelligence, and then it will start recommending uh, the movies or the dramas from that person or from that concept. So this is how AI is already working in our everyday life. Okay. Now we have to understand how are this happening. Either Google Maps, Siri, YouTube, Netflix, Google, or any AI tool you come across, you have to have a little bit of knowledge about what is in the background. So we will see what is in the background. Once we understand what is in the background, we will understand why it is working the way it is working. Okay. So first of all, I would like to introduce the concept called machine learning. So machine learning means the machine, whether it's computer, whether it's robot, or whether it's something else, whether it is an app, okay, the app is learning something from the data. Let's say I told you about Netflix, or I told you about YouTube, Google Maps. Google Maps, for Google Maps, data means all the possible routes between all the possible points. Let's say last month I was in Mumbai. Okay, I was staying in Powai. Okay, so let's say Powai junction to IIT Bombay. Okay, how do I go? That means in its training, machine learning training, the machine learning or the machine has already seen how you can reach from Powai junction to IIT Bombay. Similarly, it would have seen many millions of routes between different of points. That is what is called as machine learning. Once it learns, let's say Google Maps have learned the distance between 2 points geographically and the route map. Once they learn all of this, what they do is when you ask, it will just directly go back to its information or its training and then fetch you the distance and route map between those 2 points. So machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence. That means artificial intelligence is a big umbrella under which machine learning will be there. If the problem is little bit bigger, deep learning will be there. If it is little bit bigger, large language models will be there. So if you see the diagram or the image in the slide, you can read through later. It has so many applications based on machine learning. Okay. So even whatever tools that you are going to learn in this workshop, all of them run on the same principle. So I will show you how it works. Machine learning, ML, uses data, trains algorithms. Algorithm is nothing, a sequence of steps. Okay. When you are given data, what will you do? Maybe to explain you, I can say, let's say, for example, many of you are, almost all of you are high school and above high school, college professors and teachers. Okay. When you are trying to solve a problem, they will give you a data, okay, problem statement and some input. What will you do in the ML algorithm? I will use a laser pointer. When your algorithm, ML algorithm, is a sequence of steps. And the sequence of steps will now be arranged in a particular fashion that becomes a model. When you take this problem data, whichever problem you are doing, when you take the problem and then run the problem data through the sequence of steps, you will come up with a solution. That's a very common methodology that we follow in problem solving. Similarly, machine learning also, it takes different types of data. Let's say, for example, if I'm speaking, it takes voice audio data. If you are typing, it takes text data. If you are giving it images, it is taking visual data. Okay. So once you give the data and you train the algorithms, it will obviously make a prediction. Whatever model in the middle is formed that will be used as machine learning model. That means if now you remove this part and then you give a same kind of data, it will take the data and will give the predictions. Okay, that is how machine learning works. AI,
सरांचं
yeah.
आणि ते सर्व सरांचा विषय दिली
डिप्रेशन नाही करत
डिप्रेशन कोर्स ना
आम्ही साईन नाही करून राहिला म्हणलं तुम्हाला काय देऊन द्यायला लागलाय
13 तारीख पर्यंत नाही का
बाकी पार्टिसिपेंटला मॅडम म्यूट करायसाठी सांगा.
सांगितलं आहे सर, पण आता काय करणार ना पार्टिसिपेंट्सला त्या
हा,
गोष्टी
कारण की-
कळायला हव्या. येस मोसेस सर, कंटिन्यू.
ओके.
Okay. Okay, fine. Okay. Now, machine learning has three important methodologies. One methodology is called supervised learning. That means when you are giving the data to the model to predict objects or their names, you will first show the model. Okay, like how this is called label data. Okay, which means you will show yellow color fruit which is long and thick. You call it banana, and you will say you will show the apple and you tell the model it's apple, and you take different kinds of fruits, give their images and give their names also. So what does the model do? It will look at all the images and their names, and then it will understand, okay, if next time I see something that is lightly thick and then little bit long, then it could be banana. Okay, when something that is round and then have a stick on its top, then probably it is apple. Okay, we will see how that works. Okay, so let me okay, so it's the machine is here. It shows the machine different kinds of apples. Okay, so it has seen all the apples. Now it will show a different apple. It is guessing now. So it is telling it's an apple. You understand? That means once the machine sees different kinds of apples and how the apple looks like, it has already gained some intelligence. Next time you show something very similar to apple or apple itself in a different color, it will tell you that it's an apple. So that means machine is gaining intelligence through the data it has already seen. So if the data and its names are present, then it is called supervised learning. So whatever AI you are going to use, it is also have supervised learning. Okay, next one is called unsupervised learning. So again, we are giving data to the model, and then data has to predict what is the outcome. So here the data is unlabeled. That means we are not telling anything about the data. How does it work? Let's say left side, you have unlabeled data. A bunch of squirrels, bunch of owls, bunch of foxes. Okay, this is the training data. We have not given any names here. We have done the training here, and it gives the output. How does the output look? Now all similar things are grouped here. So squirrels are grouped here, foxes are grouped here, owls are grouped here. That means now this model, whichever is trained, can take a group of unnamed things and then group them based on their similarity. So our AI also will do the same thing. So next important thing is reinforcement learning. So far we have given the data. Okay. The third model of learning is called reinforcement learning. In the reinforcement learning, the algorithm or the model will learn or gain intelligence by trial error through rewards. Let's say now we are playing a game here. The car is here. The goal is to reach the flag. First it will go right side. It is not reaching. Okay. It will go left side. It won't reach. And slowly when it starts moving up and down, up and down, up and down, it will go left side high enough so that it will take the full speed and then come to the goal. That is called reinforcement learning. So when we are using AI will use all three types of learning: supervised learning, unsupervised learning, reinforcement learning. So all these three will help AI to gain intelligence. Because of its intelligence only, we are able to use it for our benefit, right? Okay. Now, I'll give you a very brief history of artificial intelligence, when it actually started, okay, and then what is the current situation, okay. So artificial intelligence is not really new. When they started working in 1950s, during World War time itself, they are thinking about giving some knowledge to the machine and then make the machine do the work for them. That is basically happening in around 1950. So slowly from episode to episode, it actually progressed, and now it has become a very successful technology, especially because of high speed computers and high speed technology, especially the chips which are being used. They are capable of very high power. Let's say, to give one example, many of you are might be using Intel iCore processors on your laptops. Okay, some of you might be using Snapdragon high-speed processors. So these high-speed processors can process high amount of data very fast. The speed is really high. Because of that, and because of the huge amount of data, now artificial intelligence has become completely possible. During the olden days, it was not possible because they didn't have too much of data. They didn't have sophisticated or highly developed hardware, right? Okay, so AI is not new because of the hardware and because of the amount of data. The amount of technology has increased. Okay, now in the modern era, because of computing, which I said hardware, computing is nothing but the power of your hardware, internet, so the web, okay, World Wide Web, www dot, and the data enabled breakthroughs in machine learning, neural networks, which means deep learning neural networks, and applications we use today. So when you see the history, there were actually only few experiments trying to understand how machines can learn. Okay, how can I make this machine learn or remember what I tell it? But now AI has come so far, it can take any type of data and it can be applied in almost every imaginable area of research or sector, be it healthcare, robotics, agriculture, education, finance, entertainment. Okay, so AI is being applied everywhere. Okay, not just in computer science side, right? We will see special applications of AI in education. Now, we are coming to a relevant point for us. So far, we have seen what is AI, how is it formed, how does it work, what happens in the background, how is it gaining intelligence. So now AI is in a position now, it has gained all the possible knowledge that is available on the internet. And now AI is ready for the use, just like I showed here. Applications of AI, our main focus now will be in education. So AI is now ready, fully trained. How do we use it? Now, at the outset, AI is used in education or AI used anywhere because for the work that we do, AI saves time. That's the most important, plus point, pros, right? It reduces repetitive work, right? If you are trying to do anything again and again, the same thing, you can actually reduce that repetition work. Okay, and because of its intelligence, Okay, it has seen all the data on the internet. Okay, and it has seen different kinds of data. It has seen text data, words, it has seen visual data, images, it has seen audio data, it has seen video data, it has seen all kinds of data. Since it has seen all kinds of data, it can provide insights also. Okay, sometimes beyond human capacity, not all the times, sometimes beyond human capacity. So why AI matters to you in education? Because you can automate so many tasks. I will show you how to do that in this session and the next session, and reducing repetition. And it helps you a lot to know things which we don't know, right? So now, why AI matters in education? We are coming very close to our application in education. So since AI is capable and AI has intelligence, it can support teachers in their teaching, in their preparation, in their learning, and it can also reduce administrative workload because as a teacher, lecturer, professor, many times when you are teaching a concept or when you are preparing for the lecture or when you are preparing for the notes or PowerPoint presentation, there will be definitely a lot of learning and a lot of administrative workload. Okay, so when you use AI, which is already intelligent enough, you will reduce a lot of your workload. So that is the main agenda for the next few days in this workshop, right? So how can you use AI to your benefit? How can you reduce your workload? How can you improve efficiency? How can you learn new things, right? According to the current statistics, AI tools are already being used in education globally. Okay, we focus on education in particular for this workshop. So 5+ million teachers are already using AI tools. 78% of schools and colleges, even universities, are adopting AI, right? When they started using, they already realized that the workload on them has been reduced. Okay, almost 60% time saved on lesson planning. Engagement. Once they start teaching using AI, the amount of engagement with students also increased. So cost reduction, be it preparation time, be it resources, be it material preparation, whatever. Okay, the cost reduction is also reduced, and they are trying to reduce even more. Next thing is, so when the professors, lecturers, and teachers are not available for the student, AI can be available 24/7. So it's just like switching on your computer, opening a web browser. Similarly, now you will use excuse me, you will use now AI for that matter, right? So AI really matters in education. So AI not only just matters, it is already changing how education is handled in all the educational institutions. Okay, so how exactly, here we saw there has been a lot of usage in schools by teachers, in colleges by lecturers, professors. How is all this happening? In what different ways is this happening? So let's see one by one. AI in education. So AI can be used to do many different things in the entire teaching scenario, not just for teachers, but also for students. We will see in this section, we will see both the perspectives because as teaching community, we should know how the tool is helpful for us and how the tool will be helpful to students, because not just teachers, the AI will be accessed by students as well. So you have to know the both sides, right? So AI will help you in curriculum planning. Many of you have prepared lesson plans, year plans, curriculum planning, and so many other things. Okay, it helps a lot in curriculum planning. We will see how we can get that done. Next thing is intelligent tutoring systems. Okay, intelligent tutoring system is almost like when you are trying to study something, when you're trying to learn something, it will understand that okay, a particular person is interested in these concepts. Let's say if you are studying physics, 10th standard, 9th standard, 11th, 12th. So if you are trying to understand Newtonian mechanics, okay, it will tell you about Newton's laws of motion. And then if you are done with Newton's laws of motion, it will say that shall I give you some inputs about friction, okay, and then it will go on says that can I give you some examples on dynamics. So it's kind of intelligent, so to say, and the tutoring system is now intelligent. So when you are evaluating students' performance, you actually have to grade their exam papers, grade their assignments, and so many other things. So if you have a framework for grading, and if you give that input or if you give the question paper, and then you ask the AI tool for grading those papers, instead of you struggling for many hours, and then definitely so many of you must have experienced when evaluating the exam papers and grading them, there'll be so many human errors, human prone mistakes. So to avoid that, it will take automated grading and assessment. So the fourth thing is learning analytics. Analytics is nothing but data about the performance. So you create curriculum, you actually build tutoring systems, okay, and then you grade the exam papers or assignments, and you also understand what is the performance of the student. That is called analytics. What is the progress? How many marks are there? Where is the growth expected? In which subject or in which concept the student is lagging behind, right? So another thing, important thing is content recommendation. Based on what you are teaching, based on what you are studying, based on what you are preparing, based on your curriculum, it can actually recommend different types of content. Let's say, for example, when we are dealing with a topic, most probably if you are teaching for high school or junior college or degree college or university, we will usually refer one or two very good books, maybe one or two materials, or if you want to really teach in depth, we will opt for 3-4 books. But AI has seen all kinds of possible books that are available on the internet. So because of its vast knowledge and intelligence, it can actually recommend content for us as well. So we can use AI as content recommendation also. The another most important thing is chatbots and virtual assistants. Chatbots you must have seen, like previously, whenever there is a problem with some company or some website, whether it's a purchase or e-commerce website, we will actually call the customer care and we will raise a complaint through a phone call. Now, they have become automated and they have created computer robots. Those are called chat bots. It's a robot which can chat. So it will, let's say, for example, if you go to Amazon and suddenly something pops up, something like this, and it tells, hey, and then it calls your name. Let's say my name, let's take my name. Hey, Moses, what do you want to know? How can I help you? I will ask, I'm looking for such and such a thing. So it will help. Now it will give me some information. Those type of technologies are called chatbots or virtual assistants. A person need not be there behind, or the teacher in this case, the teacher need not be there. The chatbot, which is trained on the entire education background, lots of knowledge, it will serve as chatbot. Now, both the teachers and the students can interact or chat with these chatbots and ask so many questions. In the next session, we will see one particular chatbot is called as ChatGPT and how to use them. So this is how AI is being used in education. Now we will go to all of this step by step, and then we will see what are the important things to do. Right. The first important thing is personalized learning. Okay, it is almost an intelligent tutoring system, right? Personalized learning means instead of studying different things in different places, or when you want to study only one particular concept, but if you take a textbook, it will have all the chapters, so many mixed things and all that. Personalized learning means based on your needs, based on your preferences, based on your skills, you can actually modify your learning experience, right? Let's say, for example, you want to teach an 8th class student about Newton's laws of motion, right? Now, the person need is Newton's laws of motion. The preference is easy to understand. The skill is beginner, okay? So if you maintain this, you know, preferences, you can modify your learning experience. That is called as personalized learning, right? So AI analyzes student performance or teacher preferences and suggests tailored learning materials, right? So this personalized information will help how fast you can go, and it can also give you feedback. So this term of preferences, pacing, feedback, personalization will be coming many times in our presentation. One particular website that is used in AI education is given by Academy. Previously, Khan Academy was, just a lot of lectures on different concepts, mathematics, physics, chemistry, different concepts in mathematics like algebra, geometry, equations, linear equations, and all that. Now they have trained their own artificial intelligence models, and then they have come up with a personalized learning. Okay, not just personalized learning, AI models can be used in different ways, right? First one is personalized modeling. Second one, the intelligent tutoring systems. Okay, it's almost very similar to personalized learning. Okay, so it also gives individualized. Let's say, for example, if you have, let's say, we all know there are different kinds of students in every class. There will be 15 to 20% above average. I'm not speaking about smart batches or super smart batches, things like that. I'm talking about a very general classroom, right? So if we have different categories of students based on skills and mental caliber, if you have to teach and train and help the students, all the students learn the same way, it's very difficult for the teacher, a single teacher. So what can happen is you can actually individualize, personalize the assistance to students, and it will replicate the job of a human tutor. Instead of you always being available, always worried about that group of students or one particular student, you can actually intelligently design a tutor by using AI technology and make the learning individualized, right? So it will develop the students very easily. It will strengthen their understanding in short time because they are learning along with the class, and they are also learning according to their skill, and then they will also understand their limitations. Once they get up beyond the basic level, their limitations will be reduced, right? All of these use machine learning algorithms, data analytics, and cognitive models. So this is how intelligent tutoring systems will work. You can go to Alex. I have only given few references for tools. Okay, but in this workshop, you are going to see a lot of tools for different things, especially for schools. Okay, and the junior college. You can refer Alex. So it can teach mathematics, science, and business subjects. Okay, this lecture mainly is to help you understand how things work. Okay, once you finish this workshop, you make a list of the tools that are required for your particular work. You list them all, you see how they work, you see how you can use them to your benefit, and then you choose an appropriate tool according to your needs and expenditures and allowance given in your education institution. Okay, right. So next one, AI for assessment. So like we saw the applications of AI in education, we can actually do two kinds of assessments. One is summative assessment, another one is formative assessment. Since you are all teachers for high school and college and university, I don't need to explain to you what are summative assessments and what are formative assessments. You already know that. I just kept everything here so that when you go back and read the slide, you will understand what to use. Okay, so you can do the assessments very easily. Only thing is, first you have to give it proper input, how it should evaluate, on the basis of what it should evaluate. Okay, and what is a baseline. So when you are evaluating, there must be a baseline. So if you give that baseline, you can actually evaluate, assess everybody according to that baseline, right? So the tools that are mentioned here, GradeScope, Coursera, uh, EDX AI, Khan Academy, they will all help in formative assessment tools. Proctorio and Examity, they will give you summative assessment. Okay. Okay. So like I was saying, AI for student engagement, chatbots. Maybe you can ask these questions. What is this natural language processing? Let's say, for example, of all the information that is present on the internet, right? NLP means whatever natural language you are using. Let's say we use English mandatory in schools, colleges, and universities. So the information, the study information, the teaching material, and the textbooks are all in English. Now it's also coming in Hindi. It's also coming in some regional language as well. So that is also called natural language processing. Let's say, for example, if one model is trained in English language material, and if you ask any question related to that English text to that model, it will start answering. If it has seen all the Hindi information also, and if you ask some question in English, and if you ask it to respond in Hindi, it will explain in Hindi also. If you ask it in a different language, Marathi, it will explain in Marathi also, because it has seen everything in every language possible. So that is the backbone of this AI and machine learning, natural language processing. So this interaction with AI is language based, because we are going to see an example of image based. Let's say, instead of chatting in language, you want to chat with the chatbot with images. Let's say you have picture of something, and then you want to ask, what is that picture? Explain that picture. And you give image. That is not natural language processing. That is image processing. Okay. Let's say if you want to give audio input, okay, some tools will give you the option of speaker. If you click that speaker and if you start speaking, it will take audio input, and the audio input will be converted to language processing. So that is how chatbots work. Works in 2-3 different modes. One is completely text mode, one is image visual mode, the third one is audio mode, right? So what does the chatbots actually do? It encourages participation. Let's say, for example, if the teacher is teaching a lesson in the classroom, right? So when the teacher is teaching, the student sometimes may focus or may not focus. But with the help of AI, it encourages participation. So when the student or when the teacher asks a question, okay, unless they understand what question they are asking, unless they understand what answer the AI model is giving, we cannot learn anything. So if you are interacting with chatbot or virtual assistant, it encourages a lot of participation. That means every question you ask, you are thinking. Every time it gives answer, you are thinking. So that makes you learn independently easily. Okay. You can also access all the learning materials. Fine. So AI along with NLP, natural language processing, it will help you analyze text. Okay. Reading comprehension, language learning, assisting students in the development of their language proficiency and the critical thinking skills as well. So when you are interacting with AI model, it will help you analyze your text. Let's say you are giving one input and then you want to understand something, but whatever response you got, you are not satisfied with it. So you have to modify your input. For that, you need to have reading comprehension. You need to learn the language, how to give better input. All this will help in language proficiency and critical thinking skills. So AI for student engagement, okay, AI for teacher personalized learning, all of this participation, independent study, easy access to learning materials, text analysis, reading comprehension, language learning, critical thinking skills, they will all be developed by engagement of the people with the chatbots. Chatbots are nothing but AI models, right? All right. So this is how typical chatbot works. So just look at that and you will understand. I'm not going to explain. You understand now? This is how chatbot works. Any AI model, any chat model, which can help you in your education, will develop your analysis skills, text analysis, will develop critical thinking, will develop reading comprehension, it will also develop your language. So that is how chatbot works. All right. So another important, very, very important
हाँ सर
thing as far as your teachers are concerned
आता
is
सेशन सुरू आहे
there will be always pressure both from the school administration and also from the parents about the
हाँ
learning improvement or the learning
म्हणजे
performance
जुनी
or
लिंक
the
वर्क नाही
performance of the
करणार
student in the exams
बरोबर
and how
तर मी आहे ना
particular
पहिला सेशन
students
सुरू
learning
देते
is
12
going
पर्यंत
on, what is the
मग अर्धा
progress,
तासाचा ब्रेक आहे
what is the track.
मग करते वाटेल तर
Is there any improvement? What are the teachers doing to improve the students, right? And then
मी तुमच्या कॉन्टॅक्ट
if
मध्ये
you
राहते.
take a very normal teacher job
ठीक आहे
in school or
सर मला तुम्ही
college or
नवीन
in
email म्हणून
university,
पाठवता का?
to track and to evaluate all this, it will be a lot of mental work. Not just mental work, it's also physical work. So analytics, like I mentioned in the previous slides, analytics means tracking and evaluating students' performance, such as grades, scores, and completion rates. Okay. So when you start looking at how a particular student is performing, what are his grades, what are his test scores, how well is he completing assignments and tasks, you can actually identify whether the student is at risk of dropping out or underperforming. Okay. So to identify this requires a lot of work manually, but with AI, it's very, very easy. That's why we said, why do we need AI? We need AI to reduce our workload and improve our performance. As a lecturer, teacher, and professor, our workload for repetitive tasks should be reduced. And then when our repetitive workload is reduced, we will focus more on giving more value to students. Okay, good amount of learning. So early intervention, what is it called? Early intervention. That means instead of knowing that a student is not doing well at the end of the course or the end of the semester, is more painful than learning it at the very early age. So when a particular student struggles with some concepts, struggles with some learning, and it is reflected in the analytics, you can immediately intervene and then can guide the student that, see, this is your analytics. Okay, this is how you are performing. You can show him and show the parents about their track records, and then tell them, now this is how you can take care. Okay, so learning analytics will enable you to give tailored recommendations. Okay, it is also called as personalized learning in one sense, but now personalized learning is further helped by analytics. Instead of just like, I want to learn this, I want to learn that. In your curriculum, if a student is facing an issue with a particular concept, based on his learning analytics, whether he is struggling with conceptual understanding, or he is struggling with difficult terms, or if he is struggling with problem solving, or whether he is struggling with writing proper answers, based on the analytics, we can often tailor recommendations. So that is what, when you are trying to get the analytics, when you're doing it manually, doing this for all the students is highly impossible. If you have few number of students, it's okay. If you have more number of students, it's really difficult, right? So enabling targeted interventions. Okay. Enabling targeted interventions, okay, by looking at the data on student engagement, right, and interaction with learning sources, assessment outcomes, and other pertinent aspects. So this is how AI will help by learning analytics. Okay, so if you want to a little bit go deep inside, you can actually go a little bit deep. I don't think every stage of teaching or every teaching profession may require this, but at the higher levels, like at the universities or at the research levels, or especially in the problem solving, when you're trying to comprehend something. So on what kind of basis are you evaluating students? Okay, whether it's prospecting whether it's prediction, whether it's diagnostic, or whether it is descriptive. Okay, you can apply these analytics perspectives based on students' needs. Okay, whether the student is not doing well in descriptive tasks or problem solving tasks, okay, or not able to understand the concept, right? So this is how you can actually leverage analytics. Okay, let's move on. So AI is not just for students or even teachers who are normal, like we most of us by uh, good fortune or God's grace, we have all the senses properly working. There will be some students who are differently abled. Some cannot hear well, some cannot see, some cannot speak. So far, for teaching differently able students, there are few standard technologies that schools and educational institutions employ. But with the entry of AI, special education, teaching in special education has become a revolution actually. Okay, for those who cannot hear, speech, okay, those who cannot see or those who cannot hear, they will use text to speech. If someone is speaking and whatever they are speaking, immediately it can be translated or transcribed into a speech text, okay, or speech to text, text to speech. Someone is speaking and it will immediately come as text, and someone is typing and it will immediately come out as speech. So this really revolutionizes special category education with the help of AI for differently able students. Not just students, I also have seen differently abled faculty as well, okay, who study in different formats according to their needs. But now with AI in the special education and differently abled people, AI has really revolutionized learning, right? So students or even teachers for that matter, if who are differently able, they can actually connect with, I'm sorry, it's behaving weird. Okay. Okay. So they can easily connect with instruction materials, whichever subject they want, and access information with the help of speech recognition and natural language processing technologies, whether it is speech to text or text to speech, whatever, based on that. Students with visual impairments can also benefit from computer vision based technologies and by having audio description of the visual content. So like I said, if the model is able to understand visual content, whatever visual content the model sees, the AI model will tell it outside. Let's say, for example, a dog is playing with a tennis ball, and that video is given to the AI model. And then the AI model, based on its natural language processing technologies, it will say that, okay, from the image that you have provided or from the video that you have provided, an audio description will be given. The dog is playing with the ball, right? So that is how AI can also be used in special education. Okay. Okay. These are the list of tools. If they are important, if they are helpful in some cases, in very particular contexts, you can use them. You can suggest some other people if they really want. Okay, different abilities, speech and communication, learning disabilities, visual impairment support. Okay, so these will really help, right? Now we will move to very particular. In now we have seen so far what is AI, how does it work, what are its abilities, what can it do in the entire education context. For teachers in particular, how can they use? Okay, we already mentioned about lesson planning here, and also in the previous slides, curriculum planning. Another thing besides lesson planning is generating practice questions and content recommendations. So we know many times we have to give many tests, many assignments, okay, and always referring to our textbooks, referring to our teaching notes, and forming practice questions or practice papers or question papers, whatever. It's always a painful task, and it consumes a lot of time. So here AI assists a lot. Okay, if you take a concept and you want to generate a lot of practice questions, you can use AI. So I will show you in the next session in the afternoon how you can use your inputs to generate all of that, right? Okay. So the process here, the two very important concepts here by using AI for teachers. So the process of creating and arranging educational resources with the aid of artificial intelligence technology are referred to as content creation and content curation. Content creation is nothing but, select what you want. Content curation is what you need and what you don't need in that content. Okay. Content creation can be done by using a lot of available material. So creation of new education resources, digital textbooks, interactive multimedia assessments, all of these. Okay. So let's say, for example, you are teaching a difficult concept called friction. Okay. So for friction, your textbook gives some sort of explanations and some sort of images. Okay. But you want to create some kind of lesson plan, or a small textbook or booklet for that particular concept, where you want to include a small image explanation of it, every detail of it, and then you can also create interactive multimedia, and then you can attach an assessment, and then you can actually make that as a small digital textbook. That is how you create content. I'm not talking here about creation of big textbooks, okay? That takes a lot of effort, and then somewhat expertise also needed, expertise in that area, but it can be done, okay? I'm talking about lesson-wise work that you can do, which makes your life easy. So that is content creation, okay? Second thing is the organization and selection of existing education materials from multiple resources. Many times, both teachers and even for that matter, students also struggle which material to choose, okay, which textbook to refer more, from where do I take maximum information. This has always been a question, whether it is for a teacher or whether it is for a student. So content curation, because you have designed the curriculum, you know what lessons are there, you know what content should be there, you can organize and select different content from different source, and then consolidate, curate your content into a small textbook or booklet or something. So that is curation. Okay. So that is how teachers can use AI. Apart from just using AI in your teaching, AI can drastically reduce your workload. Okay. So how does it reduce your workload? Like I said, instead of you referring through all the reference textbooks, picking up problems, picking up important paragraphs, picking up good explanations, and consolidating them, and then preparing the material for students is really, really difficult. So if you spend at least 1/4 of that time using AI, okay, you can actually provide a really good material, much better than what we can prepare, because so much of material is available on the internet, and that internet available material is already present in the AI model. So AI driven content curation makes it's very easy for teachers and students to find, access, and organize a wide range of educational resources, right? It also caters to individual learning goals, not just for the student, even for your learning. Let's say you are teaching friction, and then next you are going to teach about rotatory motion, okay, or maybe motion in 3D, two-dimensional motion. You can prepare your material for the teaching easily, and you can also start curating your next important concept for learning. So you can do both hand in hand. Okay, you can curate all your material, and then you study it, and then you prepare yourself. You can actually give the same material to the students, maybe attach a few more problems, right? So that way you will actually not only just reduce your workload, you will increase your competency levels. I'll tell you, AI or AI models which you interact with, they can increase your competency drastically, right? Right now, if you are at some level regarding a particular concept, you can actually go to a different level of understanding, different level of this one, okay, with very less amount of time, and you will be encouraged about self-directed learning, okay, and you will also promote lifelong learning skills among students, because once they start curating their own content, once you start curating your own content, learning will be easy and you will be encouraged to learn, okay. Not just that, AI automates administrative tasks like attendance and grading. Let's say once you tell your AI model what's your baseline, how you want evaluation to be done, once you give that input, or once you decide about that framework, every time you don't have to do all that. You just have to take the papers, you just have to give the input, that's all. Whether the student writes on the website or some other app according on your school, if you just run it through the AI model, attendance and grading and everything else will be automated. That's very, very easy. So your work will be done in a less amount of time, less amount of energy. All right. AI systems handle data entry, data analysis. This is all related to analytics. Not just that, progress reports, okay, report generation on workshop. Let's say, for example, if Preeti ma'am can use AI for report generation, okay. Let's say I'm teaching something here for this session and the next session. You will all give feedback, or you will ask so many questions. She will take all those questions and then create a summary. Like that, she will do that for all 13 sessions, and she will get the summary of the entire workshop. And then she will give this summary to AI and ask, what is the response of the audience for this workshop? Then most of her work will be reduced, and she can focus on other works. So, okay, any of these tasks which require a lot of manual data administration can be reduced, that workload, and then you can use your valuable time for other things, right? All right. So not just for this one, AI can also be used for collaboration. So knowledge is not anyone's property. We can actually collaborate between students. We can always collaborate between faculty. We can always collaborate between institutions, between the institute management, and also between the faculty group, everything. It is just a tool which can be used to everyone's benefit, right? So AI can be used for collaboration. Right. The next important thing, if you observe carefully, everywhere, either we are giving or it is giving, we are dealing with data. If you are giving some input to the model, you are giving it in text. That is data to the model. Whenever it understands that one particular person is giving that input, that means for that person, concepts related to that input are important. That is data, right? So depending on the data it gets from you, it recommends something to you. So it's data-driven insight. Depending on what the student is doing, okay, you will actually try to give a better content. How are you doing that? You are having the data. So because of the data, you are actually getting a better insight. So both the students and the teachers will be having data-driven insights. So usually they will give intuitive dashboards. When you are using any AI technology or AI model, you will be given intuitive dashboards, where just like we see our progress reports, we will see the dashboard. Okay, in the dashboard, students predictive analytics, okay, descriptive analytics, diagnostic analytics, progress, track records, weak points, strengths, all of them will be displayed on the dashboards. If you see the dashboard, you are actually gaining an insight which is driven by the data. That is called data-driven insight. So just for an example I kept here, if a dashboard shows a student consistently struggles with a particular math concept, the teacher can assign specific practice problems or provide one-on-one help. So this is a data-driven insight. All right. Okay. Instead of being available for the student all the time, you can actually build AI tutors, or you can actually recommend AI tutors for the student depending on what concept they are looking for. So AI tutors offer offline or off the time guidance for students. We saw AI models, AI tutors are available 24/7. So if you have designed a tutor or personalized learning, you can get personalized digital textbooks. It will automatically create content dynamically. It will give interactive elements. That means if you click something, it will show something. So the learning will be interactive. Updated content. So many a times when the AI model takes information, it takes information from the entire internet at that point. But let's say, for example, after it is trained, after the AI model is released into the market, if new content has come, what should it do? It should update its content. Okay. For that, teacher has to search so many things and then learn. If it is a personalized digital textbook, the content will be updated easily. Whether it's paper format, whether it's a different curriculum, whether it's syllabus update, whatever. If it comes newly onto the web, it will actually give an updated content. Okay, when we are trying to explain concepts to people, we usually give summaries. Okay, the summary will basically help the student understand the concept precisely, right? So instead of we doing that, AI tutors can summarize concept, concise, relevant. That means very short and all the relevant points. And it also can extract from a big text a key concept. And it gives multimodal summaries. That means it can give text, it can give image also along with it, summary. So real-time feedback, spaced repetition integration, all of these are like different tactics, different techniques for increasing the effectiveness of learning. All right. Okay. So far, we have seen sort of uh, a school or junior college based, sort of learning, how AI can be used. If it is going to higher education, where you will conduct entrance test, you have to evaluate those papers, and you have to, curate questions for that entrance exam. If you are leading a research group, if you are trying to conduct research on a particular topic, if you are trying to write a project, research project, or maybe you are trying to write a science project for some science fair or competition or olympiads, something like that. So in the context of higher education, where research and other technical stuff is involved, you can actually use AI, okay, and form your own tools, customize your learning, increase accessibility and inclusivity, promoting collaboration, responding to FAQs, helps churn data, that means separate and clearly see data. And you can also do plagiarism check. Okay, usually this is done in research, okay, where people write research papers. The plagiarism support or plagiarism detection will detect whether this person has copied the entire content from some other place. So that is called plagiarism detection. You can use all of the good points, all of the benefits of AI, which we have seen so far. Now the context is a little bit different, where you are doing at a higher level of education, right? Okay. So AI in higher education, you can actually increase the amount of analysis at a higher level. Okay. Instead of just dealing with small data on college, you will actually analyze large amounts of data. As you go up the education ladder, you will have more activities, okay, more ethics used in evaluation and teaching methodology for universities and big colleges, right? So how the university professors, university lecturers can collaborate with schools and teachers and then integrate AI and then teachers, okay? Even for higher education, how augmented and virtual reality, like virtual classrooms, personalized consultations, intelligent tutorials, interactive classes. So as the domain, or as you move up the education ladder, the application of AI starts changing depending on your needs, and your challenges and your benefits and your visions also will change from a very high school sort of education to higher education, when it is university and big colleges and deemed universities, right? So we have seen so far what is AI, how does it work, what is its backbone, what different types of learning it can do, why AI matters, how it is being used in education, what are its benefits, how teachers can use, how students can use, okay? And then now we will see what are the challenges also. Okay. So we have already seen many of the benefits. It reduces administrative workload and improve your efficiency, data-driven insights, increased accessibility and inclusivity to everybody for learning, and has enhanced engagement. That means you are encouraged to self-learn and participate. resource management, your time, your energy, and also monetary resources used for teaching and all other materials. Assessment and feedback, support for lifelong learning. Once you curate your material, once you curate your tests, it can be updated or it can be used for a long time if it is really good. But the challenges are also there. I'm not sure who will speak uh, exclusively on challenges of AI, but I will give you few challenges here. I will explain few more challenges in the next session. The first particular challenge is data privacy and security. Never you should give personal data of yourself or of the student to the AI model. Okay, right? So teacher training, adaptation, and adaptation that should be specific to the teacher, right? The another important thing is bias and discrimination. So bias and discriminations are really big concepts. In the next lecture, I'll try to tell you a little bit about bias and discrimination. Let's say, for example, bias and discrimination usually appears when you are studying something related to social in the sense, if you are studying history, if you are studying sociology, anthropology, if you are studying race, if you are studying ancient history. So depending on what information or what data went into the model, it will speak accordingly. What you want to, what you know as an Indian may be different from what the AI model has seen. So bias and discrimination we will observe a lot of times with AI models. We should be careful. We should know how to deal with it depending on our needs. So technology dependence, too much of technology dependence, definitely it has its own disadvantages. We will also see that. Too much reliability on technology. There is always already a complaint that, because people are using AI tools, they are becoming dumb. So the challenge for teacher by using AI in education is to, too much not make yourself too much relying on AI, or not make the student rely too much on technology. Another important challenge is cost of implementation. Okay, so whatever technology that we are discussing, AI, dashboards, grading assessments, they all come with money. Okay, different tools, different web applications give different offering prices. So if given your school size, college size, the number of student size, number of faculty size, the cost of acquiring and using those AI tools will be varying. It depends on school management and their budget. So these are the challenges, especially ethics. See, when you are using something that is almost like human being, we have to really have a good ethics following for any technology. Okay, we have to have an ethic. I will give you a very simple example, not very complicated. Let's say, for example, they produce knives. Okay, charcoal. See, they'll make knives for cutting vegetables, cutting trees or something. If someone misuses and then uses it to harm or abuse another human being, then definitely that's a violation of ethic. That means a knife should be only used for domestic purposes and only for purpose of making the work easy. If you are using it to harm another life, it's really difficult. All right. So similarly, when you're using AI, you have to have a lot of ethics. You should be accountable for what you're doing. There should be transparency. Everything that you are doing should be explainable to everyone. And whatever you are doing with AI, it should be reproducible. Okay, we will come to this. And privacy and data governance, right? So who is using what, to what extent they are using, what are they giving to the AI model, what are they getting out, fairness. whether it is giving biased outputs, or how do you curate your how do you control, or how do you consolidate all the curated content without giving bias? That is called fairness. So ethics in AI is a really big topic, but you should know that, okay, when I'm using AI, there should be a lot of accountability, transparency, explainability, and reproducibility. We will also see this in the next session. Okay, AI does not replace teachers at all. Usually, I think an year and a half, or I think around 2 years, when AI first started coming into all the streams, and big people, big tech companies, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, they started telling that, AI is going to replace everybody, and especially school teachers and stuff like that. AI does not replace teachers. Teachers remain central to teaching. Teachers are required. Teachers are needed always. Okay. Teachers can improve their skills. Okay. Teachers can spend more time on creativity, empathy, and critical thinking. Things AI cannot do. See, AI is like a machine. It's a robot. It doesn't have any feelings. It just gives you information. Take data, give data. That's all a machine can do. But we are human beings, right? So we have creativity aspect, we have sympathy, empathy aspect, we have critical thinking, we have so many other things as human beings. So if AI is going to replace teachers, then obviously there is no need else to for the students, for colleges, teachers, and entire system will collapse. That's not how it's going to work. So teachers have to adapt how to use AI tools effectively in their classroom. The better you are going to use, the better resourceful you will become. So instead of completely throwing away AI, that is also not good. Instead of relying too much on AI, that's also not good. You get better in your subject. You be the top one. You get to know your subject really well. And then you work with AI so that your work will become less. And when you have to explain something, you will be really explaining good. That means you are actually using a companion who is making your job easier for you. That's how AI and teachers will work together. So AI is not going to go anywhere, and teachers are not going to go anywhere. Both of them will stay there. The only thing that should happen is they have to work together. All right. So we are towards the end, and we know the future. We looked at the past, right? So here are the some tools that you can go through, and these are the practical tips which I will talk again in the next one, right? So AI is a partner for teachers, not their enemy. It will help their learning more effective and engaging. So if we are not learning AI tools, then our negligence, complacency will become our enemy, not AI. Okay, that's all for today in this session. If you have any questions, we can take even in the next session also, or we can stop here. Over to you, Preeti ma'am.
Yes, sir. It was wonderful session, and it was a nice start of our refresher course on
All right.
overview of AI. आपने सभी पॉइंट्स अच्छे से कवर किए हैं, इंट्रोडक्शन से लेते हुए प्रिलिमिनरी पार्ट, उसके बाद जो भी टूल्स टीचर्स को प्रिलिमिनरी एजुकेशन एंड देन इन हायर एजुकेशन हाउ वी कैन यूज इट, and different tools you have discussed, and benefits as well as challenges and future scope in AI. So it was a wonderful session, sir, and we are very much happy to invite you for this particular talk. And in next session also, we will learn definitely new things from your side, sir. सो
Thank you so much. Thank you so
हम
much.
यहाँ पे रुकते हैं। आप मीटिंग को लीव मत करिए पार्टिसिपेंट्स, हमें थोड़ा ट्राई करना है। मोसेस सर, शायद
Yeah,
मैं एक दूसरी लिंक शेयर कर सकती हूँ आपसे नेक्स्ट सेशन के लिए।
sure,
थोड़ा हम ट्राई
sure,
कर रहे हैं, मुझे वो प्लान अपग्रेड करना पड़ा है, तो मैं आपको
sure,
बताती हूँ सर मैसेज करके कि कौन से लिंक से ज्वाइन करना है।
sure. Yeah,
ओके,
definitely.
थैंक यू
Thank
सो
you so
मच
much.
सर। सर यू कैन लीव
Thank you.
द मीटिंग, मैं
Yeah,
पार्टिसिपेंट के साथ थोड़ा डिस्कशन करना है।
sure, sure. Thank you.
थैंक यू सो मच
Thank you, sir.
फर्स्ट सेशन।
Thank you, sir.
थैंक यू।
थैंक यू सर।
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
फ्रेंड्स
sir.
प्लीज आप
Thank you, sir.
मीटिंग को लीव मत
Thank you,
करिए,
sir.
स्टे कनेक्टेड।
Thank you, sir.
आई जस्ट स्टॉप
Thank
रिकॉर्डिंग।
you.
हाँ, जस्ट अ मिनट।